What if I told you that everything you needed to experience the life of your dreams, to achieve success, abundance, happiness, and love was all within you? You would probably maybe find that a little challenging to believe, but I happen to know that it's true. And that is what my life has been dedicated to, is bringing through a philosophy that I didn't know that I had that was going to give you the ability to find that best life for yourself and live it now so that you make a contribution to the world because that's why you were born. If you can just accept that for a moment, that you were born for this grand reason and that it was coming about now. And then what if you looked at your life and looked at the world and you can see things just in a little bit of disarray and you think, am I supposed to do something with that? Is that there for me? Is that appearing in front of me for a particular reason? And I will tell you, yes, it is. See, because my life led me to bring in Wilhelm, which was something that I never expected to happen, but it was a connection to something beyond this world that told me that you mattered, that told me that you were born for a really grand purpose and a reason, and the way that the world looks now is saying it's time for you to live that life because it's within you. And I can tell you that because I do know it because I had to live the other part of it to be able to bring this to you now. It's nothing that's happening in your life or in our world is happening accidentally. It's all energy. It's energy changing. It's energy that we didn't fully understand at certain times in our civilization, but then we start to understand more. And that's what happened for me. I'm 74 years old, and every difficulty, challenge, um, that you might have experienced in your life, Wilhelm gave me the answer to it. I can say that because I know that that's what's happened. There was no way that I could have healed and moved through all the things that I have in my life unless there was a way for you to do the same thing. See, because as human beings, we come into the world and we develop something and we give it to others, and then magically we might see things change. But I wrote an article about that so that you could understand it on a deeper level. Everything is consciousness. And that consciousness changes over time. It changes as you live and as you start to understand yourself, but it also changes in our society and our civilization. And at times that can be challenging as it is now because we don't like change. We don't want to reveal who we are. We don't want to own ourselves. We become embarrassed or we have shame about certain things about us. And that's part of your process. That's all part of the process that you were meant to move through so that you could ascend to a higher state of understanding or consciousness where you recognize your brilliance, your genius, and the gifts that you came to offer the world. And the one problem that we will have is the word gift. Because you'll think, no, my life didn't offer me that. No, I'm not experiencing that now, and I don't believe that it's possible. And that will be the reason that you haven't achieved what you wanted to in your life because you weren't willing to accept your authentic self. And I can talk about that because my life was about not doing that. I didn't do it, but it was purposeful, which I understand now because I couldn't have brought you something that said you can heal, that you can love yourself, that you can understand your worth and purpose and value, unless I had lived it and developed a way for you to do the same thing. But acceptance was the same thing that happened for me. I could not believe that I could have done that. And that will be the only problem that you will have with that thing that's in front of you that you know you're supposed to do. It doesn't matter where you are, how old you are, how much you've accomplished, how much money you have, how much you don't have. None of that matters. It's all about the energy of how you decide to love yourself. That's the only thing that matters. The money and everything that you see and others swirling around, that leaves when you leave your body. So what are you going to do while you're here, while you're still alive? And so now I said, wow, now that I've discovered I have this, maybe I should do something before I have to leave the planet. And that's what I'm doing now because it was kind of uncomfortable to discover that I had something that could change the world, that my life led me to something that could give you the ability to live this really magnificent, wonderful life. I know that is true because all you have to do is uncover the blockages and limitations that have been in front of you, and then you start to discover it. Now, everyone won't do that, so it'll take a little bit longer for the world to accomplish the same feat, but you don't have to wait because I've already done it for you, meaning I lived the life to bring this information in so that you can have it. And we will all doubt if we can do something, and I doubted it. I said, this couldn't possibly have happened. When I had this idea when I was a child, as you had too, you had this belief that somehow you were supposed to do something that maybe would make a big difference in the world or would change the world. I'm saying that, yeah, that's true. You're just supposed to do it now. That's why the world looks the way that it does, because we awaken energetically at a certain time, and more people are awakening now. Awakening means that you just start to own yourself and the reason that you are on the earth. That is really what it is. And when you can get that feeling, it's an energetic feeling that is so powerful that you will know that you can go out and accomplish anything. And that's what this work that I was given was meant to do. And it's called Your Life Operating Instructions. And the reason that I was given that work is because the world was changing. It was going to change, and it was going to be really uncomfortable for many people because we had to bring up all the other stuff, you see. We had to bring up all the limiting things or things we might have judged about ourselves that were ugly and distasteful and all of that. We had to bring it up so we could see it. But then when we do that and we can look at it, we understand that we have the ability to change it now because it's all in our consciousness. We know about cognitive behavior training. We know about psychology. We know about all of those things. And Wilhelm gave me all of it. And that's why I looked at this one day several years ago and I said, oh, I could I could become a billionaire and transform the world. I wrote an article about it, but most people probably would have read it or seen it and thought that's not possible because you would have passed over it because you would think that's not possible because you're looking at yourself and looking at the world and saying, no, this can't change. It's too terrible. And then I come along and say, oh no, you have everything you need, and all you have to do is take every step in front of you to uncover it. And why do I know that? Because I sat down for 36 years and I wrote it, and the end result is that I'm 74 and everything is healed, and you can do the same thing. And the more of us who do that, then we start to see a more healed world, and we don't have to go through everything that we're doing now. When I first began the channeling sessions, the live channeling sessions, which I didn't want to do, by the way, because I said people aren't going to understand this. But Wilhelm says, no, you got to do this because the world is going to look a little chaotic and people will be afraid. We want them to understand that this is a good thing because whatever you're feeling is a limitation that you wanted to get over. Sometimes fear will have you do that because it's so uncomfortable. And then it'll have you own yourself because it's so uncomfortable not to be your authentic self because that is why you were born. When I saw this several years ago, because I started to understand you don't have any difficulties or challenges. You just don't know what next road to take. That's all. And I was given all of that information. So I'm going to leave this with you today because what's happening now is that I have this wonderful team that's going to begin working with me because I've held back as well in terms of putting all the work out, and all of the people in my work and the program know this. And so that's what I'm doing. So now I have a lot of help that I want to put this out because I want more people to become their magnificent, wonderful selves, because then we see something very different in our world. And now I know that I have the way for you to accomplish that. But don't worry, I didn't believe it either. So I'm going to leave you with links so you can go through and read it for yourself because we have new things now. As we develop as humans, we develop different abilities of what we can do with our consciousness. So we've done the same thing with technology, which means we have artificial intelligence now. And using that gave me such a clear understanding of what Wilhelm has given me for all of these years, why I was able to heal and accomplish so much, and why I know that you can do the same thing. I've never met a single person who could not excel and prosper and become abundant by using this work. And you'll hear it because there are many testimonials out there who talk about it. But I want you to understand something else. That was only a portion. It took me 36 years to reach here. You're going to do it so much faster now. And that's exactly what happened when people did the first 31 days of this work. They were like, couldn't believe what was happening to them. That's because we've all been talked out of what we could become. And so Wilhelm decided to give me a new philosophy to give to you that says, no, we can become more as individuals and also as a society, as a civilization. Because the thing that happens, which I didn't understand, they kept saying to me, you came here to be love. And I put that away. I said, no, I can't do that. It's going to be too ugly out there. There are too many people who are going to be hateful. I can't do that. You say, yeah, you can, because love is the most powerful force. It's the most powerful energy. It's in the universe. And so if you come with that, then everything will be great. I had to think about that one a little bit longer too. And I thought, oh, is that how I healed? Is that how I healed physically? Because I came into alignment with all of that? And yeah, I did. And so you can do it as well. And now you'll understand why. And probably on this day, because the information that Wilhelm has given me has been aligned with the energetic changes and connections that have happened throughout the world. And I'm going to leave you with a couple of documents that you can look at, but there'll be many in the description of this video because I want more people to have it so that you will know if this is the work that you want to come into. Because if you do, you will have to become happy. You will have to become successful and really love yourself. And I can say all these things and I can be smiling about it, and you'll never know that I moved through so many horrible, tragic, difficult experiences in my life. So that's why I know what you can accomplish. There are no limits to what we can do. And if you have the word impossible in your brain, that's the problem that you're having right now. You can accomplish anything. And now I will show you why. And be sure again to check all the what I call little gifts that I've left in the description here, because I really want you to have this. It doesn't matter if I ever see you again. If I see you, you'll become what you're meant to be, because the other benefit of this, when I'm channeling Wilhelm, I'm getting connection to you. So that's what makes this work a little bit different. And that's what makes it different for everyone, because it's connected to you, your authentic self, that part of you that said you're supposed to be in the world. So you will understand that one. But I want you to have this one document and look through it, because it's the thing that gave me the confirmation. I could feel what was happening, what was going on as I kept working with this. You have to understand, you don't change overnight. It takes time for you to do it. But now you can do it. There's no reason. And I said this many, many years ago, but now it's so apparent because most people couldn't have heard it then. But I said there's no reason for anyone to struggle or suffer now, because there's a pathway, there's a solution for your life. And that could seem so out of whack as you examine things or think about yourself. And I'm telling you, I know that it is true, that you're brilliant, that you were born to do something. All you have to do is follow the plan to get there, and you will have it. And the more of us who do that, we energetically shift the entire planet, and then we have a very different world. That's why I've said I was given a philosophy that could change the world. But when you go through this document, and you can check the others, you will understand why. And here it is. But first of all, I want you to think about something. Everything that you experience in your life is through your consciousness. You must think about that. And the way that you use your consciousness has been formed. It's been formed by how you grew up, what you were taught, what you've learned, what was programmed into all of that. And all of it was limited. We must understand that one concept, because where we are today, we are limited in terms of what we can accomplish tomorrow. But when we don't see that or can't see the other side, then we can become a little discouraged. And that might be the case for many people looking at the world right now. However, Wilhelm has told me over and over again that no, that what's happening is that we're building something better. Yeah, we've got to go through the old stuff, but that is how we get to the new stuff. So, what you will see as you go through this, I took the messages, this was a couple of years ago, and I put them all down from just one date. Because, as I said, I discovered that Wilhelm was giving me things that were so aligned with what was happening. And the title of this message was called Accepting This Message Will Change Your Life in the World. When I wrote it on that day, I thought, well, Wilhelm has given it to me. It must mean something. And so I just followed the instructions as I've always done. And I put down the first message from 1989, where I was, you can see from that message, I was still surprised at what I was uncovering. Now, that's been 36 years, but now I know what it is. And so then as you go through each message, because there's an organization of intelligence in our world and within you, and you access that over time, it never shows up right away for any of us. Doesn't matter who you are and all. So anyway, you'll go through all of that and you'll see that. And then you go back to the original message and there is a description of it. So I want you to have all of that. And it says the chat GPT, this was just, using artificial intelligence. It says life changing and world changing potential, life changing and world changing potential. The claim that accepting this message will change your life and the world is not hyperbole in the context of these messages. Here's why. And when you read these, just understand this is about your life. This is about why are you here? And it is to live the best life possible. And you know that you have to go through all the internal struggles, battles, and all that might have existed. The difference here is that I was given this information, and as you go through it, you will see that it's broken down in ways that you will understand every aspect of who you are. And as you go through the work in this program, what happens is you do that every single day. That is the only way any of us change or accomplish anything. And the only reason you don't is because you give up. And so I was determined to create something that people don't give up. You own it forever and you will transform. That's what this is. So yes, everything that you need is within you, and now you have a way to find it and live it and make a meaningful contribution, not only to just your life, but to our world, because the world needs you. Wilhelm has given us several messages about that, and now you will probably understand why. See you soon.